Also, Honourable Prime Minister, Minister of Home Affairs, External Communication and National Development Unit, Minister of Finance and Economic Development. Whether he will state if he has taken cognizance of the public demand for a far-ranging and complete Commission of Inquiry on the Alvaro Sobrinho affair, and further state if the terms of the Commission of Inquiry, as announced on Friday 23rd of March, will be widened accordingly.
Madam Speaker, as Prime Minister and Head of Government, I have the privilege to be regularly informed of matters of national interest. One of those matters relates to the case of Mr. Alvaro Sobrinho, which has been ventilated in the media and on and off subject of wild allegations by politicians of all shades. Madam Speaker, as the House will recall, in my reply to the PNQ on 4th April 2017, I stated inter alia, and I quote, "Given that there are already various investigations being carried out by the Financial Services Commission and other bodies, including the CCID, on alleged false and misleading statements made to the FSC in connection with a license application by one of the companies of the group, and also given the fact that local commercial banks are satisfied with the sources of funds, I consider that the setting up of a Commission of Inquiry is not justified." Madam Speaker, let me assure the Honourable Leader of the Opposition and the House that no stone is being left unturned or shall be left unturned to establish the facts and the truth in the Alvaro Sobrinho case." Unquote. Madam Speaker, I am informed that the application for an investment banking license by Alvaro Sobrinho Africa Limited was received by the FSC on 29 September 2016. The application was processed by the licensing cluster of the Commission as well as other relevant supervision clusters. It was then considered by the Applications Committee, chaired by the then acting Chief Executive of the Commission. I am further informed that this process took approximately 2 months, and the investment banking license was issued to ASA Limited on the 25th of November 2016. Following a series of media articles relating to the supposed legal advisor of ASA Limited, in March 2017, a complaint was lodged on the 10th of March 2017 by the FSC at the CCID on ASA Limited for having potentially misled the Commission by providing false information, which is a serious criminal offence. Following the criminal investigation conducted by the CCID, on the 18th of August 2017, the DPP decided to prosecute ASA Limited based on the charges of making statement which it ought reasonably to know was misleading. As from September 2017, the FSC engaged with its international counterparts in Switzerland, Portugal, and Angola to obtain further relevant information pertaining to the promoters of ASA Limited. As from the 6th of September 2017, the FSC equally entered into a process of obtaining the information with respect to the case lodged. I am informed that the FSC officially received the information from the DPP's office on Thursday, 15th of March 2018. In line with its statutory objectives, the FSC has, according to prevailing legislative framework, already initiated relevant enforcement actions against ASA Limited since the 19th of March 2018. Madam Speaker, as part of this enforcement process, I am further informed that the FSC has today already proceeded with the suspension of the investment banking license of ASA Limited. Madam Speaker, the nation has been taken aback by the Platinum Card case, where numerous allegations have been made in the press against Mrs. Amina Garib Fakim, former president. Events that unfolded led to her resignation, which I believe was the best choice for the country. Recent events have brought new facts to light. These events, Madam Speaker, have shown that unscrupulous individuals in this country are bent upon subverting the rule of law. Those unscrupulous persons have gone to the extent of attempting to destabilize our system of government, going against all established constitutional, legal, administrative, and conventional procedures in our country. In the light of the said recent events, government has decided that a commission of inquiry be set up to inquire and report on such an attempt to circumvent the rule of law in our country. It is evident, Madam Speaker, that my government shall leave no stone unturned to uncover the truth, and therefore this commission of inquiry will also inquire into matters incidental and ancillary to the matter to be inquired into and reported upon. Madam Speaker, furthermore, on Friday 23rd March, I also announced during my meeting with the press that following allegations echoed in the press over the preceding days and also those made by some members of the opposition, I decided to refer to the ICAC an anonymous letter which, beside the leader of the opposition, I too had received. The letter listed a number of allegations on which the ICAC should inquire and which included those echoed in the press and by some politicians. I have no doubt that light will be shed on all the allegations when the ICAC inquiry is over. Madam Speaker, Section 12(2)(a) and (b) of the Commission of Inquiry Act provides that no evidence given before a commission shall give rise to any civil or criminal proceedings other than a prosecution for perjury against any person giving such evidence, or be admissible against any person in any civil or criminal proceedings, except in the case of a witness charged with having given false evidence before the commissioner or commissioners. Pursuant to Section 12(2) of the Commission of Inquiry Act, any evidence adduced before a commissioner cannot therefore be relied upon to institute proceedings, criminal or civil, against any person. On the other hand, if an inquiry is conducted by the ICAC or the police, any evidence obtained form the basis of an action to be initiated before a court of law. I am therefore of the view that initiating a commission of inquiry would only further drag matters and will not result in concrete action as opposed to an investigation conducted by the ICAC. Madam Speaker, I therefore invite anybody who has any relevant information to come forward and give evidence before the ICAC. No person should have any hesitation to give evidence, as informers and witnesses who collaborate with ICAC enjoy protection as regards their identity and also protection from any civil or criminal suit pursuant to Sections 48 and 49 of the Prevention of Corruption Act.
Madam Speaker, let me firstly correct the Honourable Prime Minister. I have not received any copy of any anonymous letter. I received quite a few, but not that one, and I'm not aware of any other political party in the opposition having received such a letter. Madam Speaker, firstly, I'd like to ask the Honourable Prime Minister, since my PNQ of 1st of April 2017, the case for a commission of inquiry has been even more compelling. With a number of our main institutions, with Mr. Sobrinho having created havoc in a number of our main institutions, from the PSC, in the FSC, where 4 people, including the Solicitor General, has resigned, in the Board of Investment, where an influential member has resigned, the President of Mauritius has resigned, the Governor of the Bank of Mauritius has said that his contract was not renewed because he was opposed, he said that publicly, because he was opposed to Sobrinho. Madam Speaker, all these things have happened since April 2017, and I put it to the Prime Minister that the case for Commission of Inquiry into who is behind, who has his peddling influence, who is the corrupt person or persons behind Alvaro Sobrinho, the case is even more compelling today.
Well, Madam Speaker, first of all, the letter that I had received mentioned that a copy has been sent to the Leader of the Opposition. Now, well, I have given the letter to, transmitted a copy of the letter to ICAC. Okay, I can table it. I have no problem. The Leader of the Opposition has mentioned a number of things that have happened, but not for the same reason that he is saying. I have not been able to recall all what you are saying, but I can give you at least one. When you are alleging that the Solicitor General has resigned because of this affair. The Solicitor General has resigned, and I just want to quote what he himself has said in his letter, that his current workload at the Attorney General's office recently made heavier upon his appointment as Board of Director of Metro Express Limited, and therefore he has no sufficient time to fulfill his responsibilities at this commission. That is what he stated. So you can't know better than him. You become more Solicitor General than the Solicitor General, I hope. Now, you made allegations that I can recall what you said just now, Governor of the Bank of Mauritius. His contract has not been renewed because of that. Well, I haven't heard him saying that. His contract has not been renewed. That's it, because that is a decision taken by government. So I consider whatever the Leader of the Opposition is saying as incorrect, and therefore there has not been. And I must say, I won't repeat again. You're talking about what has happened FSC. I've just answered that FSC has taken, has done and is doing its work. And whenever there is anyone who is going against the provision of the regulations of the FSC, against the law, that person or that body will be taken to task. And this is what is happening.
Speaker, may I remind the Prime Minister there are a number of licenses that Mr. Sobrinho holds, a number of them including a management company license. I look forward to the letter, the so-called anonymous letter, to be tabled, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the Governor of the Bank of Mauritius did say in an interview, that he became politically damaged goods because of the Alvaro Sobrinho affair. I will table that, Madam Speaker, if you will. Madam Speaker, I'd like to ask the Honourable Prime Minister whether he really wants us to believe that it's a coincidence that in the space of 1 week, the Solicitor General has a lot of workload. That same day that a board resolution is being circulated to approve the reinstitution of the licenses of Mr. Sobrinho, and a few days later, 3 days later, 3 other board members of the FSC resign also in advance of a board meeting to restate Mr. Sobrinho, and that on the Saturday morning, the present Governor of the Bank of Mauritius is appointed just to make the quorum. Is he seriously going to make us believe that all these things in that one particular week of June 2017 is a complete coincidence, and all these resignations has nothing to do with Mr. Sobrinho, neither has the resignation of Mr. Leclerc from the Board of Investment?
Let me come back again to the letter. Probably I should have to be advised whether I am entitled to table the letter, since it has been handed over to ICAC. Let me seek legal advice on that. Now, talking about the members who have resigned, well, again, as I say, we all know that some members have been proposed in the past by former Minister of Financial Services. And now that when he resigned, after some time, they have also followed suit. And again, there are a number of reasons they have mentioned in the letter of the resignation. And with regard to Mr. Leclésio, well, I have no idea why he resigned at the Board of Investment.
Madam Speaker, is the Honourable Prime Minister aware that the public has absolutely no confidence in ICAC, especially when it's dealing with government officials, especially after dozens of cases of irregularity, corruption, dealings in money, dozens of allegations have been made against members of the government and high public officials, and ICAC has not found anything at all. And I don't want to embarrass more than I should. And I can take case by case of the number of people sitting in this House which have been investigated by ICAC, and we've not heard anything since.
Madam Speaker, the Honourable Member has been in the past a prominent minister in different governments. He has been a minister in the Labour PMSD government. He has been a minister in the MSM PMSD ML government. I have never heard him saying at any time that ICAC is this or that, whatever has. Since he's become leader of the opposition, ICAC is no more trustworthy and this and that. We have confidence in our institutions. And why I say so? Because we allow institutions to operate in total independence. And the proof is there. We have seen allegations have been made against some members of my government. They have had to resign. Cases are being investigated by the police. Some cases have been to the DPP. DPP had advised prosecution. And what I find, I won't comment on that, but in a case where the Honourable Leader of the Opposition himself has complained against a member of my government, and then when there is a case before referred to the court, the Honourable Leader of the Opposition has gone to say that I'm withdrawing that case. Now, I don't know which is which, but anyway. So these are concrete, but these are concrete cases. These are concrete cases where, no, but these are concrete cases. This is, Madam Speaker, proof that the institutions, especially the institutions that have to conduct an inquiry, are doing their work, and eventually, now, not all allegations will eventually end up before a court of law. It will, but you ask a question and you want to answer yourself? So let me answer. Now, and this we can check throughout, so many cases that have been inquired upon by police, ICAC, and so on. And wherever there is a prima facie case, wherever there is evidence, there is substance, of course, eventually, the DPP will decide. Anyway, it's not either ICAC or the police that decide. It is the DPP that decides whether a case would go forward or not.
Speaker, in a case of personal explanation, this is the second time that the Prime Minister is giving correct information. I have not taken, written or otherwise, my case against Honourable Sudan out. It is coming, and you're not informed. It is coming on Thursday for trial. This Thursday in 2 days' time. And as you did, and as Honourable Prime Minister, you don't even know that. Madam Speaker, I'm really sorry. Madam Speaker, this same Alvaro Sobrinho, which have been raising hell for a year or so. The same Álvaro Sobrinho was purported to be trying to buy, not 131, reduced to something like 59, high-class villas in, I don't need to know to tell who was taking him around, etc., in Royal Park. But this Álvaro Sobrinho, can you inform the House whether he has been able to satisfy the conditions, strict as they were, from the Board of Investment as to show that his money was clean and bona fide, or whether in fact he has not been up to now able to get clearance as to his own funds that he's investing in Mauritius not being tainted funds?
Madam Speaker, I am aware that as at today, Álvaro Sobrinho has acquired only one villa at Royal Park on the 16th of November 2016. And through a company called Vango Property Limited, he has acquired an immovable property at Eben. So this is the information that I have. And I don't know of any acquisition of any other properties so far.
I think you do. But still, Madam Speaker, let me put this question again to the Honourable Prime Minister. It's common knowledge that he's buying 59 apartments and villas worth 1.6 billion rupees, s'il vous plaît, without even negotiating for the price. He is buying this. And the Board of Investment has issued some time ago a letter with 4 conditions. If I had time, I would give the 4 conditions. And I'm saying to the Honourable Prime Minister to check that Mr. Álvaro has been incapable to show that his money that he is going to invest in Mauritius is not tainted by money laundering, and this is precisely why he has not gone ahead with the remaining purchases of the 59 villas and apartments.
Madam Speaker, from what I know, I'm informed that Mr. Álvaro has transferred money into the State Bank of Mauritius. Now, the State Bank of Mauritius has carried out, obviously, the usual process of enhanced due diligence on transactions that have been carried out by the customer. And I am also told that the remitting bank, and we are talking here about the National Bank of Canada, has confirmed that they have carried out satisfactory due diligence on the source of funds and on the sender. I am also informed that there have been funds which have been transferred to Barclays Bank from National Bank of Canada and from Crédit Suisse. Now, I am also told that Mr. Álvaro is conducting business in Portugal, in UK. I have just mentioned Canada, Switzerland. Now, those international banking institutions of repute, and those countries, we are talking about UK, Switzerland, Canada, Portugal, so far, as of today, they have not found anything. They have not asked or prevented Mr. Álvaro from doing business in their country using their reputed financial institutions. And now, because there are allegations made by the leader of the opposition, we Mauritius, we should do better than all those countries. And we should say, stop. Don't come and do business in our country. Ever of our regulation, action will be taken. And this is precisely what the FSC has done.
Madam Speaker, is the Prime Minister aware that this Mr. Sobrinho's assets have been seized to the tune of 150 million euros in Switzerland, and is actually being investigated for bribing of a judge in Portugal. Is he aware of that? And just to finish on that question, il ne faut pas noyer le poisson. We're talking about 1.6 billion rupees for the purchase of villas and apartments in Royal Park, not any other money that he may have transferred before for whatever reason. Are you saying that the Board of Investment has given clearance, is satisfied that he has now met all the anti-money laundering provisions? That is my question.
With regard to the Board of Investment, I have to check whether what has been the process. But I am saying that leader of the opposition is saying that his assets has been seized and whatnot. Okay, I will check on that. But as I am informed, as of today, Credit Suisse, there is no freezing order against the assets and the funds of Mr. Sobrinho, unless otherwise I will check on that. Why is it that there is no freezing order?
I think it's common knowledge on the internet, and the Crow reports are there to state what sort of personality we have to deal with in Mr. Sobrinho. Let me come to another, because time is going by. I want to ask the Honourable Prime Minister, in a press conference he made on the 15th of March, Prime Minister said that in a paquet quelque chose qui me connaît concerning the President. Now, he hasn't tabled the letter of ICAC denunciation, so all these lots of things that he knows on the President. Has he written to ICAC to tell ICAC about this?
First of all, the leader of the opposition should listen very carefully to what I stated. I didn't say paquet qui chose me connaît. So probably we'll talk about that later. But I have said in my press conference that what has been alleged so far in the media with regard to the platinum card, this is one thing, but government, I was ready to come before this House to table a motion for the suspension of the President at that time, and that I had already prepared all the charges, all the grounds, they are not charges, they are grounds, on which I would rely upon to request this House for suspending the President. Now, there are other things when I say there are other grounds. And those grounds, of which I have evidence, of course, once the Commission of Inquiry is set up, they will also form part of that Commission of Inquiry. The evidence will be laid before the Commission of Inquiry. This is what I said.
You'll tell me when
you have 2 more minutes.
Okay, thank you. Madam Speaker, I want to ask, I'll have a last question. This is what I wanted to know. Madam Speaker, you'll give me a last question. Okay, thank you. Madam Speaker, I want to ask the Honourable Prime Minister, when was it that he became aware of the excesses of the President concerning the Platinum Card? When? Because that's been going on for a year, and my information is that government was fully aware of the excesses of the President. Firstly, when did he become aware? How much exactly was spent? There's some amount, $27,000 US. Some people are saying twice as much. How much exactly was involved? And since he was going to give all this to the House anyway. And thirdly, when did she repay the money? And if she did repay the full sum to PEI?
Well, Madam Speaker, these are banking information that are confidential because the law says that we cannot just circulate or publicize banking transactions with regard to an individual. Of course, I relied upon what has been publicized in the media. And of course, I looked at and I also discussed the matter with the former President. Of course, I will not be able to say the content of our discussions. But it was clear that those documents that had become public were documents that were true. And in fact, it was also acknowledged by the former president. So other matters with regard to how she has used this platinum card, how much has been spent, whether she has repaid back, this will all form part, it will be material before the Commission of Inquiry. And then we'll see.
Okay.
No question, Madam Speaker.
I'll allow you a last question, Honourable Leader of
On top of
Opposition,
this one?
but please, no. A last question, but please be brief.
Okay. Madam Speaker, I'd like to ask, the Prime Minister has not answered the question. The first part of the question is, when did he become aware, through the governor of the Bank of Mauritius, that the President of our country was misusing a charitable foundation's money for private purchases of shoes and jewels, etc. When was he aware of that? And secondly, why, even after so many resignations, so much havoc being created by Mr. Sobrinho, why is the government protecting and shielding Mr. Sobrinho?
We are not protecting anybody. And in fact, if we were protecting somebody, or Mr. Sobrinho, why would the FSC then suspend the license? Why? You know, I didn't want to come to that, but you know, Mr. Honorable Adrien Duval is talking about Sobrinho. Honorable Adrien Duval stated on the radio, Alvaro Sobrinho jamais pas fin joindre Xavier Duval ou aucun membre PMSD. I can table a nice photograph of Honorable Perrault. Of Honorable Perrault. Don't say jamais.
Order, please. Order, time is over. Time is over. I'm sorry, time is over. Clerk, please. Clerk, please pass on to the next item. Time is over. Time is over. Pass on to the next item. Order, please. Order, I said. No, time is over. You have a point of personal explanation,
yes.
but please sit
Yes,
down.
yes.
If I allow you a point of personal explanation, it should not be controversial. You know that according to the standing orders.
Madam Speaker, the Honourable Prime Minister once again has insinuated, I think now, that I may have met Mr. Sobrinho. I do not know that crook. I never met the crook, and I hope in my life I never meet the crook.
Okay, time is over.